GM.
GM.
Grand morrow. Good morrow? Good morrow.
Good morrow.
Good morrow. Not grand.
That is what they would say at a medieval Renaissance fair.
Ah, I've been to one of those. Been a long time, but I've been to one.
Never been.
No, I was younger. It was cool then. I don't know if that would be my thing now, but yeah. I mean, they take it seriously. They love that stuff. It's good.
Gotta take stuff seriously.
I don't know how people get out there and still do jousting, but they do. Like charge at another person with this like long spike and just smash each other on a horse.
Love it.
Yeah, not for me, but I get it. GM decoy, Flurlify finally on time. Yeah, we'll let it slide, but we're happy you finally made it on time. Did I see the video of the dude hucking a javelin at a drone? No, but I kind of want to. Sounds pretty cool if he hit it. Maybe not so cool if he didn't hit it and it went somewhere else that it shouldn't have. I don't know. How are you doing this morning? What's going on?
Fabulous. Wonderful.
FABOLOUS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good morning. Weather's nice.
Hey.
It's getting a little bit warmer out here up in Canada, eh? I don't know about NYC.
It snowed yesterday.
Did it really?
Yeah.
A lot?
A little bit. But it was interesting. It was snowing. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's one thing here. Everybody, we start to get weather like it is right now. It gets nice. It gets a little bit warmer out. People start putting lighter jackets on. And everybody does this like, yeah, like spring is here finally. What a winter it's been, blah, 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 blah. End of March, beginning of April, we get absolutely shit on with snow. And it always happens. There's always one more that you never expect. And even if that happens at the end of, or like the middle of May, it always happens. It's funny.
Every time.
Winter is never truly over. But yeah, it's looking like a nice day out.
Mm-hmm.
A nice day to touch grass, as the young folk are saying these days.
You got to put your feet in the grass.
Put your feet in the grass. A little muddy for that right now. Toronto winter is a wily temptress. You are absolutely right about that. What's up, Hermano? GM? The Canadians? We're here. DJ do work. Opie. Opie? How do you say that? I don't know.
OPE. Out of pocket entertainment.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You down with OPE?
Yeah, you know me.
Mm-hmm.
Started.
CJ. CJ do work.
Is that your boy?
Yeah. CJ's the man.
Nice. GM CJ. Oh. Get some coffee in me. How's the latte? Showed up yet?
Yep. Drinking it now.
Doing the work?
Yes.
Doing the damn thing. Winter is coming, Ned Stark. Yeah. Fuck, man. That was a good show. Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yes, I did. I fell off on the last season. But...
Yeah, I think that was a general consensus. You know what? There was a part of me that I was watching it and I was like, this isn't as bad as everyone's saying it is. Like, it got tight for time, blah, 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 blah. I really kind of like convinced myself that I was enjoying it. And then I went back and rewatched the show from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I realized how fucking good it was compared to those last seasons. And on my rewatch of it, I basically stopped halfway through the second to last season because I was like, oh, yeah, I get it. I understand now. Great show, though. That new one's coming out on HBO.
What, prequel?
Yeah, something about the Targaryens. I think it's like hundreds or thousands of years before, something like that. Lots of dragons, lots of fire. I'm in. Yeah. Count me in. I gotta believe that they probably learned some stuff from the last show. Who knows? Could be something to look for.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my dude. You want to do the old drum roll? GFD Gens, and welcome to the Thursday, March 10th edition of the AM show, hosted live on YouTube and Twitch. It is episode 89, and I'm so happy to be here with you. I am your host, R2DGen, and with me, as always, every single morning is Free Market Capitalist.
Hey now.
It's Thursday, second last day of the week. We've had some stuff happen. Crypto not doing so great, but looks like maybe, just maybe, there might be a little bit of life in this NFT market. Things seem to be maybe firming up a little bit, some volume inching back in there. Excited to see it. Doesn't mean that it's over yet, but doesn't mean that, not necessarily tons of pain to come. Who knows? Anything can happen, especially in this environment and the macro scene that's going on. Yesterday, we came on the show. Bitcoin was doing very well. Ethereum was doing very well. Crypto in general did pretty well. This morning, it is pretty much back down to Tuesday's levels. ETH has crossed below 2,600 again. It's kind of hanging around there. Bitcoin dipped below 40,000, sitting at 39,000 right now. And yeah, kind of just had a little bit of a reset. Almost feels like a little bit of a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event with the executive order that Biden was set to sign yesterday and did so. The news was bullish. It went up and then cooled back down. Just my thinking on it. But yeah, what are you seeing with this market right now?
Bipolar. And it rallied right back into resistance. We were talking about 4,350, 4,400 on the S&Ps. And again, I'm still watching the S&Ps because even though we had that kind of crypto specific news with the regulation that caused a pop, I say yesterday, we popped right back into resistance. So at that point, I figured, well, we're just going to attach ourselves right back to the market. And lo and behold, S&Ps coming in this morning, giving back most of the gain from yesterday. And the NASDAQ has given all of it back, tech stocks. So far, we are not out of the woods. We couldn't get above the resistance that has been holding us back. But we can't get below the support either. So just watch for us to break below that support to indicate if we're going any lower or vice versa. We're going to see if it can hold and maybe rally back. But it's a bipolar market right now, and it's all being driven by geopolitical issues and the macro situation. So we just have to watch.
Yeah, it looks like the S&P got up to about 4280 yesterday and has since kind of come back down, especially this morning, 4225. You kind of pegged that 4200 mark as a resistance point that you don't want to dip too much below. Some of the tech stocks yesterday, specifically around crypto, also had very good days. Coinbase, MicroStrategy, Robinhood, they are all now giving it back as well. I got to believe a part, 50 or one part of the S&P going down, the other part crypto going down, all tied together. Those stocks are taking a beating now as well. We have 2 days left in the week. Where are you looking for us to try and close on Friday to be bullish into next week? Right. Or is that hard to say right now?
Well, I'm a student of the 8 and the 15 DMA, which are your shortest moving averages that you use. They're still in a bearish cross, and that's the resistance we keep trying to get back over. Currently, we are in a trend of making lower highs and lower lows off that 8 and 13 DMA. So we need to get above right now. I will tell you where it is. Sorry, 1 second.
No, that's okay. I kind of put you on the spot there. That's my bad. I know that it takes a little bit of work to actually look at these charts and dissect it.
Right. We need to get above 4,350. So we got up to about 4,300 on futures, not the big contract on the S&P. 4,350 is the resistance we would have to break over, which we are having a tough time doing so.
Yeah. For sure. CJ Do Work is asking, how much lower do you think ETH will go? Is it a good time to buy or better to wait and see for now? I personally, if I was like wanting to buy anything right now, I would just be DCAing, but that's more my style. It does kind of feel like we're kind of in this middle zone where it could go up as violently as it could go down. That would be my my point of view right now if I was looking to buy ETH.
Yeah, this is a bad place to buy because it could go either way. So if we were closer to 2000, I'd probably say yes. But this is not a great place to buy, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've seen it a bunch of times over the past year where we get to these really treacherous levels of ETH, and then it just goes on an absolute tear up. But, as we were mentioning kind of at the beginning of the year when we were talking about it, and, you pointed out that we're trading or you expect to be trading within this channel, lots of volatility, but, stable bottoms and stable tops, maybe around that 2,200 mark and the 5,000 mark. That was kind of your outlook at the beginning of the year.
We're in a $2,400 to $2,800 range right now, and we're literally in the middle of it at 2,600. So I don't like buying the middle of a range because you're either going to feel good when it goes to 28, but it's not going to go much higher because it's stuck in the range, or feel terrible when it goes to 24, and you're not going to want to buy more. So I feel like it's better to buy and sell at the extremes of the current range we're in, or wait for a reset, something to indicate that we're going much higher, a break above 2,800, something like that.
Yeah, great point. CJ Do Work says, thank you. You're welcome. GM Crypto Link, a little bit of news for you today. This one should be pretty bullish for crypto, actually. South Korea elects pro-crypto president. South Korea has just elected a crypto-friendly president amid the country's ongoing tightening of crypto regulations. South Korea has elected Yoon Suk Yeol as the country's next president. South Korea is a country that is always on the forefront of technological advancement. They're a big hub for that. They are a consumer base that is uses technology a lot. Lots of cell phones, video games, computer gaming, all of that stuff. But they have not been overly crypto and definitely not NFT friendly in the last little bit. This election was maybe a little bit of a turning point for that country, obviously electing the right person to be pro crypto. Interestingly enough, though, in the election process, there was another candidate that fundraised his campaign using NFTs. Now that person didn't win, but it definitely seems to be like there's a changing of the guard in South Korea, and they are looking to be on the forefront of technological advancement and maybe start to kind of push towards a more Web3 friendly nation. Very exciting to potentially be onboarding all of the user or the citizens of South Korea into a wider crypto range and potentially NFTs. I think I saw this and I was very, very excited to read and dig a little bit deeper into it.
Well, it was interesting because we had seen some weirdly bearish stuff out of South Korea over the last year about crypto. And now there's this candidate that's very pro-crypto that's come in. Maybe all the anti-crypto stuff was just the current regime trying to bat down the competitors that would use it to gain an advantage or win the election. But like you said, this is a huge economy. This is one of the best economies in the world. And having them legally in NFTs and crypto is nothing but bullish. So very good sign from South Korea after about a year of weird bearish news related to crypto and NFTs specifically out of Korea.
Yeah, very, very bullish. And, this is a democratic election too. So I'd be curious to know how much of the voting for this new president was based on their pro crypto stance. Like, is this a younger population, 20s, 30s, 40s, that are really looking towards crypto to be building wealth and participation in these economies, really voting with their ballots and getting someone that is favorable in this regard into office? I think it would be really cool to kind of dig a little bit deeper into what happened there, or if this was just a promising presidential candidate that happens to be pro crypto. But, if you've if you've been in esports and gaming industry, you know, South Korea is often referred to as one of the meccas of esports. You know, it was a huge scene for StarCraft. Most Blizzard games, I know Overwatch is huge there too. And we often talk about how good NFTs can be for these games in terms of their cosmetic items, being able to actually own it, share it, trade it, sell it, et cetera, et cetera. I have to believe that a lot of this population that has grown up with video games and is seeing this shift of towards NFTs in the rest of the world might be ready to kind of try and push their own government into that direction.
Yep, definitely. So bullish on South Korea.
Yes, yes, yes. Good morning, Sanchez, Miho. Let's get this fucking bread. Agreed. And then some lovely spam person on Twitch. See you. Cool. Yes. And then last article that I had pop up was about Tron founder Justin Sun. Yesterday, The Verge did release an article about Justin Sun. Calling him one of crypto's loudest hype men, but according to former employees, he takes many risks dodging U.S. and Chinese financial regulations. Sorry. They go on to outline how this guy has been siphoning off the top of his businesses, stealing, and his strategy is to always have an exit plan. He seems to move around a lot and tries to dodge this stuff. Again, this is all allegations done by The Verge, but it made quite a lot of noise. And Justin Sun, I think, understandably, not too thrilled that he's being called out by The Verge. He has basically called it fabricated storytelling and plans to launch a countersuit on The Verge. The Verge is definitely a publication. I don't follow them a lot, but whenever I do see them pop up, they're definitely dropping some bombs on some of the biggest names in the tech industry. Am I right in that? Or do you have much experience reading The Verge? Is this typical for them?
Well, they're not BuzzFeed. So they're not going to put out something like this without due diligence, without a lot of research. So it's interesting. I mean, Justin Sun is arguably the largest ETH whale in the world and may have more ETH than anybody in the world. So, you know, it's really crazy, but almost not surprising, as there has been a ton of smoke for a long time. We will see what his response is to this. There are a lot of allegations in this article. We'll see if his PR team and lawyers go over each one, or it's just a general denial of what's going on here.
Yeah, he is going to be. I mean, he's well funded to go after the Verge for this too. So it will be interesting to see if this ends in a court battle. If any of these allegations are overly true, getting into a court trial might be kind of risky for him, as it might open up the floodgates to more discovery and more deep diving into it. So will be interesting to see how he actually responds, or if he's kind of just lighting a fire under them to see if they budge. But yeah, I mean, Justin Sun is everywhere, often regarded as maybe one of the biggest or one of the richest men in the world, but never makes the lists. Oftentimes hard to really pinpoint how much crypto somebody has and how much wealth. CZ of Binance is always in that conversation too. But this is going to be something to watch going down, because when the hammer falls on stuff like this, sometimes you can see quite a ripple effect in the rest of the market, as maybe it threatens over regulation, I would think.
Yep.
And then, yeah, so that was the news articles of the day that we had going on. I wanted to give a shout out to Messiah in the DGen Dojo for sharing this. He brought up the 10K TF collab with Gucci. 10K TF is a collection that has been around for quite a while, and it was an interesting one. It created a little bit of buzz, having some association with Beeple. It has been, I think it was back in October that this minted. I'll have to check the high tops, but essentially it's the story of this artisan craftsman in the metaverse that you can bring your specific NFTs to, in particular Bored Apes, Mutant Apes, Cool Cats, Pudgy Penguins were one. There's some Oni Force in there and a bunch of other collections. And you could actually inscribe your NFT and your character onto, you know, these nice looking 3D, Air Force One looking shoes. It was really cool for holders to be able to do that. A lot of buzz was circling around it. Again, Beeple being involved, and it was exciting 6 months ago. Crazy, I can't even believe it. September. I thought it was much later than that. They went on to release the backpacks. They went on to release the stock room, in which they airdropped all of the holders of this certain supplies. Now you can make hats and socks and hoodies and all of this different stuff. And again, put the NFTs onto it. There's the Forgotten Runes Wizard cult on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was all really cool. It was all really exciting. The floor price never went too crazy on it. It's 0.3 right now, which is definitely higher than it has been. The kicks always kind of commanded a certain premium, and the backpacks were a little bit more depressed. Their supply on them was higher, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, it wasn't uncommon to come into this page and see the floor price at 0.1, 0.15 ish in there. It's gone on a little bit of a run. The snapshot has already been taken for this, though, but they did announce that they are partnering with Gucci to do a drop. Gucci, of course, did their super plastic a couple months ago, and it has done really well. It's sitting at a 5.5 ETH floor. It's moving a little bit on this news, but you know, while we're looking towards 10 KTF and the Gucci's collaboration, if there's any indication of how the original Gucci drop went, this could be pretty good. I want to go over some of the stipulations for you guys to be able to get into the pre-mint, because there are a bunch of ways to do it. If you log into 10 KTF and go to the shop, you're going to be able to get onto a raffle for the allow list in a couple different ways. One, if you hold any of the 10 KTF items as of, I think it was March 3rd that they did the snapshot, you'll be able to sign up for pre-mint. And they're doing they're doing 1,000 to the 10 KTF holders. The Gucci Vault, if you've been in the Gucci Discord and you have the Explorer role in that Discord, you can also enter it in a different way, which is the Gucci Vault. So if you've been hanging around in that Discord, don't even have to necessarily be a holder of Super Plastic. That is one way. And then they have a list of profile picture projects that if you are a holder of and they're in their wallet, you can register as well. So Oniforce, Anything Bored Ape, Cool Cat, Cryptodes, Gutter Cats, Pudgy Penguins, Forgotten Runes, Wolf Game, and World of Women. I would say if you have any of these, I would go register for the pre-mint raffle regardless. This could be a really, really big cook for people. The only thing is it will cost you 1 ETH if you win to mint the mint pass for the Gucci drop. I've got the breakdown up here. Have you ever been in 10 KTF? You were following it for a little bit?
This brings back fabulous memories of the summer and one of the coolest drops that there was, really leaning into mystery, lore, and staying in character. And I loved it. And no, I didn't get a chance to participate, but man, this is so cool. I love it. And partnering with Gucci, these guys are going places.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you go on the website, it is all about the experience and whatnot. So it's been pretty cool. Like I said, it's been a little bit silent in the past, but they've been working behind the scenes and bringing this stuff out. I'm glad that I've held on to the kicks that I bought on the secondary. I didn't mint them myself or anything, but it's been kind of a good hold. I got pretty lucky with one of the airdrops for the stock room too. I ended up getting one of the rarer ones in that as well. But you know, it's been a brand and a project that's just been continuing to build and marching forward. And I got to believe that Gucci is going to do wonderful things with them if there's any indication on how the super plastic went. So yeah, go out there and check it out, because it's going to be a big one. So there's a little bit of a timeline here. You're going to want to do it before tomorrow for the allow list and reserve list raffles to be done. The mint pass is going down on the 14th. Any that don't get done, there's a reserve list on the 15th. Mint pass redemption begins on the 16th of March, and you have until the 18th to actually use it. The mint passes are not indefinite. You have to submit them or they will be gone for good. And then March 23rd, the big reveal. We'll see what all goes down then. But I'm pretty excited for this. I'm hoping to win. I got to believe my odds are pretty low, but hey, it's a free shot.
Yep. Love it.
Quantum Key was also one that popped up yesterday too. I saw that mint go down. This is by Quantum.Art, which is a curated photography platform. I've seen it pop up once or twice, but they have designated artists that do the work. They curate all of the art that's on there, and it is obviously an NFT marketplace for buying, trading, selling, etc. They released yesterday their Quantum Key LA. They are opening up a physical gallery for NFTs, making an actual IRL experience for NFTs. They're going to have like a minting station, curated art gallery within it, and there's going to be an exclusive lounge within the gallery for any holders of the Quantum Key. Maybe some shades of Gary V's Fly Fish there, but with an NFT gallery kind of attached to it rather than a specific restaurant. These minted out pretty quickly at 1 ETH yesterday, and since then, I'll refresh it. It was almost just crossed 4. It's at 4.269. Nice. And it is just on an absolute run. It's I saw people like sneaky aping into it, all kinds of different whales trying to get their hands on these keys. There's only 1,000 of them, and they've been moving really fast. I think that this is a really interesting thing. We talk about the utility of NFTs a lot, the exclusivity, the access. I'm really excited to see an NFT gallery open up in Los Angeles, and we're going to see how that all goes down. But yeah, just is something fun. Do you see NFT galleries popping up more often? Is this going to be something to look for, or should we be looking more in the metaverse for these things to kind of stay? Do you think there's a good correlation? Do you think this is going to interest people, help onboard people?
Well, I think for NFTs to flourish, the idea of it being an NFT has to go away. It just has to be what underpins digital collectible technology without people saying NFT or what the word is. We're still so early, that's not going to happen for a while, but this is the beginning of it. Technology, IRL, all the ways that we're going to integrate these things seamlessly into our lives. It won't feel like just this separate thing you trade on one or two sites on the internet. It's going to feel like this living thing that you can touch and use and share, just like you do with all the other forms of art in your life. So love these type of things. I definitely think it's going to be moving into real galleries, events, concerts, everything. And, photography and music, so bullish on these two areas in NFTs.
Yeah, I definitely feel like untapped resources in there too, as obviously seen more than an abundance of profile pictures or metaverse type models and all of that. I gotta believe that generative art profile, or not profile pictures, photography and music is going to have their moment maybe sooner rather than later. But I'm so excited for one of these to pop up around me, or if I'm ever in LA to be able to go to one. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to get into the exclusive Quantum Key Lounge, but yeah, I mean, you always see, especially earlier, the Bored Ape meetups and the Bored Ape pop-up galleries that they had, and cocktail parties and stuff. Everything I saw on there looked like they were having a lot of fun. It was a cool social gathering experience, and yeah, I'm hoping that maybe something in Toronto pops up sometime soon, so I can go and enjoy it and meet some like-minded people in real life, because I don't have a whole lot of them in my area. But what's that?
Canada,
yeah. Poutines. Somebody wanted me to start a drinking game about every time I mentioned the word poutine, I had to take a shot. And loose. Yeah. I don't want to get that drunk this early in the morning, man. Maybe one day we'll do a drinking game. I don't know. You guys let me know what words would have to happen for that to happen. So yes, CyberBrokers going to work. CyberBrokers absolutely are going to work. I'm going to refresh it, but it was up to a 4.1 ETH floor, and this is just really an incredible run in the face of a distinct drop off in volume. I got to think that this almost 16,000 ETH in volume that has been traded on CyberBrokers is putting in some good work for OpenSea during this time. But it's been all CyberBrokers for the last week. all the way from their 0.35 mint price now up to 4.1. I couldn't even begin to tell you if and when this is going to stop, but there definitely seems to be something there. Josie has been out in the public speaking about it, engaging. I mentioned she was on the Oh Shiny show Twitter Spaces the other day, and people have just been having a lot of fun with it. And yeah, I mean, the one thing that I saw on Twitter that was a thread was actually that they are going through with putting the art fully on chain. Sometimes on chain is used as a buzzword, but this is maybe justifying the high mint price a little bit more. It is very, very expensive to be putting art onto the Ethereum blockchain, as that space commands a very, very high premium. But yes, they are all set up to go, and it looks like sometime next week they are going to be adding each and every SVG file directly on chain. A lot of people point to NFTs as a scam, because it's you're just buying a link to a file on IFPS. There's a couple of collections that exist out there that actually do exist fully on chain, and that's where some purists will point to as a big source of reasoning behind it. It's not all like that. And CyberBrokers is doing that as well. A couple other projects that you could think of at free market that are actually sitting and living on chain.
Probably. I mean, this is a really awesome story. Like, in the middle of a bear market, this thing is the only shining light. And the concept's absolutely cool. Like you say, purists love that stuff. Purists pay attention to stuff. And shout out to A Lot of Money. Rest in peace. That was shocking and sad as well. But the CyberBrokers, huge shout out to everybody in the DGen Dojo that got that. What a cook. 0.35 to, I think it got up to almost 5 ETH yesterday. But yeah, that was pretty damn amazing. I love the concept. And as one of those purists, the fact that it's going on chain is pretty damn cool to me. I mean, I don't remember the exact number, but it is not cheap putting art on chain. I mean, it's one reason why the mint price was so high. So, very
yeah.
cool.
I remember seeing an infographic that like a gigabyte of memory on, memory of like space on the Ethereum blockchain was somewhere in to the tune of like $1 billion or something like that. Obviously, these aren't going to even come close to like a gig file size and whatnot, but that space is valuable. It is expensive to lock something permanently on the blockchain. That's why you see the workarounds like the IFPS kind of happen for stuff, because it would be prohibitively expensive. Some side chains or alt chains will tell you that's one of their biggest selling points. But again, once the usage kind of gets up, they start to get very, very expensive too. So yeah, this has been really fun to watch. I mean, Josie is clearly crafting and curating an incredible art style and community around it, and people have just really rallied behind it. And it really is happening at such a great time when there's just not always a lot to talk about. So it's yeah, I mean, congrats to anybody that not only minted this and saw it, but has held on for this long and has had the conviction play to do so. Because in this market, it takes a lot to just jump onto something and hold through 1 ETH, 2 ETH, 3 ETH, because you always have it in the back of your mind that the volume might dry up, but it hasn't for this project. We've seen some whales just absolutely aping. The one in particular of the 800 ETH and sweeps with it, and yeah, so shout out to this project. It's been a hell of a run, and I couldn't even begin to tell you where this goes to next. Can we explain putting artwork on chain? I don't know if you sent this before or after, but I'm just going to say that, like, obviously, JPEGs, SVG files, which are a little bit more common because they're scalable to different sizes and whatnot, take up a certain amount of memory space. To put something and use that memory space within the blockchain costs a certain amount of money. It costs ETH to be able to commit it to the blockchain. And that's why you'll see a lot of projects, if they are doing it, they're often like small little, like, tiny pixel art. I think Is the Begans totally on chain or no?
Not sure.
Not sure. Yeah, I think, but you don't often see it just because of how insanely expensive it is. But this team is committed to ponying up a large portion of their mint price to make this happen and make it a reality. So, from a technical standpoint, I don't know a ton more than that. I don't know. I don't know like a deep dive of it, but it would be interesting to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to them. Keep an eye on it. Who knows? EtherOrcs, you guys did, you and Maz, shout out to Maz, did a space with the team yesterday, and they are launching the next form of the EtherOrcs game. The last of the ogres were minted.
Last of the ogres were minted. We're moving on to rogues. Super exciting point in the game as we are halfway through phase 3. Once we have minted the last of the allies, we're moving on to land. All right. So Orcs, as we know, is a passive probability roll type of game right now. Eventually, we expect this to build into a movable, tactile World of Warcraft type metaverse where you can actually do things and move around and all sorts of stuff, build and things like that. As we get closer to that, I get more excited. So we've now moved on to rogues. Rogues are like elves and will add a certain amount of quote unquote luck to your probability rolls with something called luck runes. So the same way that ogres make training dummies and shamans make potions, the item that rogues make are called luck runes. And they will add 6% advantage to both the great and superb reward. So there's 3 rewards you can get when you raid. That's a regular reward, great reward, or superb reward. What it will do is remove, let's say that you use your maximum amount of luck runes on your raid. It will remove 12% from the regular outcome and add 6% each to the great and superb as far as your advantages. Normally, just as an example, it tends to be something like 55, 35, 15. So if you added 6 to that, you would have 49, 55, or 51 and 41 and 21. So sorry, I know my math was weird there, but my point is they basically increase the advantage of your rating, the success rate of your rating. So at 2 p.m. today, the last of the old raids will be finished. Now, I would say that the most stark thing for rogues is how many less bone shards you get on your raids, especially given the time. Both the time of the raids has gone up and the amount of bone shards you get has gone down. The amount of Zug you pay has also gone down slightly. So in a per Zug ratio, you're not getting a lot less bone shards than the last raid. But in total bone shards per day, it's less as the length of these raids is longer. So I asked yesterday, would this phase take a little longer? And they weren't sure. They noticed a lot of people building up bone shards who stopped minting ogres, figured they had enough ogres, and started to just hoard them to mint a lot of rogues. So I expect when we see rogues go live at 5 p.m. Eastern today, many of them will be minted. We could be off to a quick start over the first few days, and then I would expect it to slow down a lot. Given the different dynamics they've put together here, they're actually speculating it could be about the same amount of time, maybe a little longer, but they're not sure. They never know how the strategy that works is going to affect the economy, where the imbalances are going to present themselves, and therefore how quickly is it going to mint out. So we will see. I have enough bone shards to at least mint one rogue right away. The catch with them is they can't start journeying for items because you need to level them up and journey them for items to actually have them craft these luck runes. They can't do that to level 85, and they all start at level 35. So something you saw was people hoarding training dummies, as they automatically add 4 levels to your orc when you feed them to them. So you need at least 12 of those to get your orc to get your rogue to a level in which it could journey to get the items it needs to craft these luck runes. So we're going to see exactly how this affects the economy, but I'm very excited for this phase of the game. The first rogue was minted yesterday by a dev as a test. They begin minting for everybody else at 5 p.m. Eastern today. And if you want to get in on those juicy raids that we still currently have, the last ships leave at 2 p.m. today. So if you want to try for that Leviathan and maybe 60 shards one more time, make sure you get your raiders on the boat before 2 p.m. Eastern. That is when the cutoff is, and then we will be transitioning into these new raid dynamics. Of course, coming up after this, we have dungeon crawls, we have mages, and then after that, we're going to be talking about Metaverse LAN. And this is all probably a few months out. Huge shout out to the Orc team. It was a fabulous community space. Yesterday, we were talking strategy. We're going to be doing this we change the day and time, so just note that. We're going to be doing this every Wednesday at 6 p.m. We tried to make it a little friendlier for Europeans, as the 9 p.m. Start time was a little late. So tune in next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern so we could see how that first week of Rogues went. Super excited for that.
Yeah, the EtherOrcs community is rabid, but I don't know if it's like 3 a.m. in Europe kind of rabid. But yeah, it was a good space. I managed to tune into most of it, and it's always fun to listen to them. I just love this EtherOrcs spy thing they have set up on their website there, looking at all of the stats and whatnot. And the Zug is still deflationary, it looks like. So very cool.
What's great is, especially if you are a student of game theory and you understand how the orc team thinks, by keeping track of the of the spy website that you're on right now, you can kind of get an idea of what they're going to do in the next round, right? Because much of the utility and probability dynamics that they're giving in the next phase are to battle imbalances, right? Because they know how many training dummies people are hoarding. They know how much Zug people are hoarding versus selling or burning. And they can look at all of that and then adjust their numbers so that by the middle of the next phase, the economy balances out. Now, again, by the middle of the next phase, people will figure out, what the profit maxi strategy is, and then it starts to dwindle down. Imbalances occur. You don't make as much money, and then they have to do the same thing on the next phase. And it's always this cat and mouse game between the game designers and the people taking advantage of the system. So really, I love this site. I love nerding out and trying to speculate how they're going to change utility going forward to keep the economy balanced, because it's really a masterclass in tokenomics from this org team.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's been fun to watch from the outside in. I almost I've been playing a raid party as a game. I like, praying, hoping that maybe it one day can get to the level that EtherOrcs is at right now. But I've been trying to figure out my strategy going forward too. Did you end up upgrading another fighter? What have you been doing there?
Yep. Burned a fighter yesterday, upgraded another one successfully. So I'm down to 2 in my party, but those 2 are now yielding twice as much as my original 4. My strategy going forward now is to mint fighters until I fill up the slots. I have been watching the hero price, which almost looks like it's going to dip under 0.5 again today. I think if you're taking a long-term view, heroes are a play. As we've talked about a few times, it takes burning 20 fighters to mint a hero as you get into the later parts of the game. So just like the Orc boys, watch the imbalances and understand how to adjust their tokenomics to balance things out. I expect that to happen in Raid Party. So I think heroes short term are probably still going to be in a bearish downtrend. But if you're looking out a few weeks or months, I think that's the play. But yeah, like I said, right now, you have two options usually, and that is to upgrade your fighter or to mint another fighter. To upgrade is different amounts of confetti. The first upgrade from level 0 to level 1 is 25 confetti, plus you have to burn a fighter. The next one after that is 35 confetti, and you have to burn a fighter. If you want to mint, fighters are 100 confetti. So now that I'm down to 2 level 1s and enhanced fighters, the strategy is to mint 4 more so that I fill my party up again, and then start burning and leveling up and keep doing that. But you always want to obviously have a full party or at least level 0s in your wallet that you can burn. Keep leveling up your players, because there are diminishing returns to leveling up. The thing is, eventually, when fighters do mint out and there are none left, you are going to have to upgrade to increase your amount of damage. So eventually you're going to have to. But for now, it's still obviously much safer and higher EV to just mint level 0 fighters and use them to level up other ones to level 1, because that's your greatest jump in damage.
So I kind of had a change of mind this morning. I woke up, I had more than enough confetti to upgrade and burn a fighter. I, like you, started with 4. I did burn 1 fighter and upgraded him successfully. Thank you. I was going to do that again this morning, and I was kind of doing just some quick math on it, and I kind of had some pause. And I think now I'm going to stand pat at my 3 fighters and let enough confetti build up to mint a 1 more fighter, or 2 more, or 3 more. I'm not sure. It depends on what I kind of mint in terms of that fighter. Because when I did the math about upgrading my second best fighter now, right, with my worst fighter, the discrepancy of their damage isn't very high, and the total damage that it was going to add to my party was going to be about 10%, which is actually the same chance of failing. So I was wondering if that were risk reward in my specific scenario with the levels of fighters that I'm dealing with wasn't actually worth it. Now I'm thinking like, okay, if I just waited out for 2 more days, I should actually have enough confetti to just mint a new fighter, and that damage boost will probably be better than the 10% additional damage that I'm going to be doing by burning. And this is where it starts to get really cool, because it is situational. If I had a really good fighter and a really shitty fighter, it would be much more worth it for me to burn that shit fighter and upgrade the really good one. But they're so close in it that the actual damage output to my total party might not actually be worth it. So I think I'm gonna stand pat and just wait for the 100 confetti. Should be there by Saturday, and add on to my party in that way. And then hopefully I'm into a really good one, and then the choice is a little bit easier, because if it's one that's around 950, 1,000, 1,100 damage, my choice still becomes a little bit harder. So very interesting dynamics there that are starting to kind of rear their heads as you kind of look towards filling out your party and going about it that way. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's been fun to wrap your head around, but I do still think that the end result is getting that full party to level 1.
What I enjoy, it feels like they combined a little bit of EtherOrcs with a little bit of like Wolf Game and those risk protocols. So it's different enough. The graphics are great. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I find myself wanting to buy more heroes and more fighters. And I know that there was a lot of ire over this project from the delay, and many people won't forgive them. And look, I can't blame you. I mean, this has been the month of delays and disappointments across the board. So again, I would never blame anyone for having that mindset. But I put all that aside, and I'm just having fun playing this game. I enjoy the graphics, not as much as Orcs, but it's there. So I'm enjoying it, and yeah.
Yeah, I think the big things that we're still looking for is, one, for those fighters to be released for anybody that did the 1.5 ETH on the the auction that they had for the Genesis heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Still waiting for those to be released. Did you get an outcome on that on their Discord? Did they say what is actually going to happen? Is it going to be just a mass claim or a drip?
Yeah, they did not make any announcements on timing, how it's going to be done or anything like that. They did announce an official raid party poker tournament.
Oh, cool.
Which is first place is going to be a 1,300 plus fighter, second place an 1,100 plus fighter, and third place a 900 plus fighter, and fourth to 10 place all get 0.2 to enter. The sign up is free, but if you're in that community, keep a lookout for those. I find that very fun.
Yeah, definitely just like a nice tie-in to add some bonus and maybe build some community around it. Love the poker tournaments. And then finally the thing that I'm looking forward to most is the implementation of guilds, which is hopefully sooner rather than later, but I know that they are just focusing on making sure that this game is running smoothly. Interestingly enough, I mentioned that they had to pause their contract yesterday. It looks like they have some pretty good checks and balances and systems in place that if something is appearing off, it automatically triggers like a contract audit and diving into it before things get out of control, as we so often see.
You don't stop, I was going to say, and you don't stop yielding when they pause the contract. They're calculating how much confetti you yield, so it doesn't pause the action in the game. You just can't do any new actions, but whatever is going on is still going on. They're still calculating and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been super impressed with their checks and balances system. It seems if something is off or triggered, they're able to pause, assess what it is, change it. They've had to adjust a few things, but it's been very painless. We know Orcs had a very, very anxiety-ridden contract migration in the middle of.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right. And in stark contrast to many projects that we've seen having to do, Wolf Game was another famous example. I feel like they had to do it twice, if I remember. I don't even remember at this point if they had to do it more than once.
And they pretty much just canceled the minting because they couldn't fix it.
Right. So given what we've seen, this is very stark contrast, I would say to that, where they seem to be able to pause the contract, fix things while it's live, and nothing. I've never even noticed when they're doing anything. Look, and obviously it's your own situation. If you have to burn a player, whatever you have to do, if you have to do actions, I'm sure it's a pain in the ass. But so far, I didn't have to do any while they were doing this maintenance, and it's been very painless. So
yeah, mine was waiting to be claimed and revealed after I burned a fighter, so I could figure out if it actually went through or not. And it was just adding like a little bit more
thing in the world. What is that?
What's that?
That's the most anxious, even though it's a 1 in 10 shot. It's
yeah.
Jesus Christ. What am I doing? What is happening here?
Like there was no part of me that had anxiety about clicking the button to actually burn it. I was like, I did the math. It checks out. This makes total sense. Like, sure, there's a risk involved. And I actually love the idea that there is risk involved because it does add a huge layer into the game, especially when you think like, this is a $1,200, $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 NFT. Like, am I really playing this game or am I playing this game? But just from a pure like emotionless standpoint, clicking the button was easy. Going to click the reveal button and then getting that little error about the contract being paused and can't do it right now. Then I was just like, fuck.
Well, very interestingly, Orcs have added a bit of this quote unquote risk protocol into their next phase, as before this, with ogres and shamans, to level them up with items so that they could craft for you, there really weren't any negative outcomes, so to say, or you couldn't pull any skunks, right? Or at least not a lot of them. In this new dynamic for rogues, you can roll blanks a lot of times. And we know you have to burn Zug for every time you try to journey for an item. This is also different from ogres and shamans. So they've added a bit of risk now where you have to level these things up, and there's a risk that you will not get an item, right? So if you're rolling to go for a higher item and you have one already in there, it could disappear. That could go away. or you could just roll a skunk and burn a bunch of Zug. And as we know, of all the utility tokens out there, Zug is by far the most stable, sitting basically at $2 the whole time, and actually up against ETH when you look at it versus ETH. And that's actually more a result of ETH going down than anything. But Zug maintaining its ratio to it in that time has caused it to really outperform almost everything. And it is the highest yielding liquidity pool on all of Polygon. For I don't even know how many weeks running right now, and they've just announced a new incentivization program for people to stake the liquidity pool, in which they will be receiving bone shards as well. I mean, staking the liquidity pool is nice, but most people will not burn their precious, not stake their precious Zug when they could burn it to get bone shards. So they're doing a bit of an incentive program here. Well, you will get some for staking in the LP as well. And CJ, no, I would not wear sunglasses at the poker table.
Yeah, I was gonna let you. I was gonna let you handle that one, but my heart was saying no, please God, no.
No, it's ridiculous.
God forbid someone sees you blink and it's a physical tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Raid Party confetti sitting at about $14 right now. That seems to be stabilizing. It's taken a slow slide from 17 down to about $14 as it kind of tries to find its footing, and we figure out how deflationary this currency is going to be. I never honestly expected it to be sitting at $90 to $100, although it would have been fantastic. But based on the yield that I'm getting on my my initial investment, it doesn't feel too bad. Definitely want to see some more activity and bump those numbers up a little bit, but very exciting. For anybody that's in the Moon Lounge and wants to come join us on stage, I did put the restream link up in the AM show chat up there. I'm going to throw some music on. We got a couple more topics to kind of just chill on and whatnot. JCV is asking if Starcatchers is on the docket. It is more of a brief conversation. We did talk about the situation with
and boy, it get worse and worse. I mean, this was a dumpster fire of a situation for this team, for this entire project. It was opaque at first what was happening. We didn't understand whether the team knew about this, what Butrick was doing, all this type of stuff. I mean, when you see, well, I don't even know what it was called, boat tree or whatever that thing was called. I mean, it's Starcatchers. It's fucking Starcatchers. I mean, are you kidding me? These are human catchers. It was the same
human catchers.
It is one thing, okay, if you're gonna go out like, I'm an artist, I want to do other work, I want, whatever that type of thing is. But this was the worst possible thing that could happen. We just went through a phase of the market where we're like, the artist is the roadmap. How often do we just go through this where it's like, well, the artist, the art is on the team, especially this is a licensing and branding play. Like, you look at each thing, right? And you try to assess like, okay, what is the potential here? I mean, Orcs and CyberBrokers and all this, those are obviously P2Es, right? This is a licensing play. And I always said that about Cool Cats. And I felt like that was why Cooltopia was like a little bit missing the ball here. But this is a licensing play. And you're thinking to yourself, well, they're going to need more art. They're going to need artists to consult with the real world businesses and all this stuff. This was an absolute dumpster fire of a situation. Butrick is out of his mind. And then the response by the team at first saying, well, we're just going to remove him as a co-founder and he remains as an art. What is that? Like, that doesn't even, he was obviously one of the founding members of the team. I mean, this was, again, it was just a train wreck. I'm happy in finally the response, because I guess as things unfolded, we found out that the team did not know. They were blindsided by the fact that he was going to announce and release a project 2 weeks after Starcatchers. I mean, what does that say about what he thinks of this project and its potential? I mean, you just could not ask for a worse situation. But I think this is a very good lesson, okay? Because Web3 all too often is predicated on no contracts, handshake deals, people just talking on voice chat, never meeting, and da-da-da. This would have never happened in Web 2. This would never happen in the corporate world because that artist would have signed a non-compete. There is a difference between an artist saying that I'm going to go out and do other work. I'm an artist. I'm allowed to do other work versus putting out the exact same fucking product you just made for somebody else. This is not a situation where the artist is just looking for other work so that he can get paid. You would put if you were making a contract, you would say you could not go out and make another 10K PFP project within 6 months of this, whatever the hell the stipulation is. This is what happens in the real world because this type of shit will come up if you don't.
Well, based on their announcement that they put out last night, it actually seems like they did have some of those fail safes in place, and you know, obviously this is a shitty situation, but I mean, it's a long. Did you see this one on their Discord that popped up this morning, or like it was like midnight last night?
Yeah.
So it does actually say. I'm just trying to find the paragraph here. GMcast, by the way, welcome.
Oh, GM. Yeah, carry on talking, man. I'm just doing something quickly.
Just vibe. Yeah, no problem. I'm trying to read through this. I probably could have just read it out loud, but it basically said that he relinquished his right to the minting stake that he was owed by breaching this agreement, and that he was still going to get paid for his work under like the actual, I guess, salary arrangements and whatnot, but that he had kind of burned that bridge to be able to get the money from the mint. So it does actually sound like they had some stuff in place there that was protecting the Starcatchers team, and he kind of fucked himself on that part.
Well, it seems that retroactively they've now listened to the community and fired him, and therefore now that the contract is done, they're not going to pay him. But if you look at their previous announcement, they were like, we're still friends, he's still on the team. I mean, yeah. I don't know. It was very confusing at first. Bottom line, in the end, they did the right thing. They got. If you're gonna save this project at all, you got to get rid of this guy. You have to do something. And shit, you could not find a better artist or better person to lead the way than Ariel. I mean, she did a lot of the art for Starcatchers, but Butrick came up with the main character here.
Yeah, and it was his style. Starcatchers is his style.
Right, exactly. So you're just, I also made the point originally when this stuff started to come out a couple days ago. In the end, it's really just about execution, right? It's like we sit here and speculate, oh, he can't do 2 jobs. He has to focus on the, and look, of course, it's justifiable as an investor in this project or as a holder to ask these questions. I am not saying that, but in the end, it's can he execute or can't he? All right. So that is what it is right now. If this team can execute with Ariel, who is fucking fabulous and can, really put out this level of art, then fine. None of it really mattered in the end. But I would not blame anybody for wondering if that's even possible at this point.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really, really unfortunate situation. It was actually in the first paragraph there that they said, first, we are disappointed to be announcing that effective immediately, Starcatchers and Botrick will be parting ways. Botrick will receive the pay that is owed to him up until this point, but will be foregoing future royalties and will not be receiving his vested share of the minting revenue as per the founder's agreement to accountability. We thank him for being the original brilliance behind the Starcatcher art, and we want to reiterate that Starcatchers will always support creatives and what they do. Yeah, so it kind of sounded like he has opted to try and get his own bag, so to speak, with a project, and it sounded like there was some agreements in place before all this went down that he likely should have known that he was in violation of. But in their words, they were deeply confused by the actions of Botrick. So rough situation. Tough look, but yeah, as you said, Ariel has done a lot of work for them already, and looks like she is stepping up to the plate and to start a new paradigm in the Starcatchers thing. What's going on, Cass?
What's good? Here's a question for you guys then. Good FUD or bad FUD?
Well, that's it. Yeah, that is a great question because I talk about it all the time. The most important thing any project could have is emotion. And emotion is FOMO or FUD, right? But I agree with you. I don't know if this is the right type of FUD because this is not like unjustified. This isn't just your standard FUD that you see about every project by both sides of blah, 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 all this type of stuff. I mean, I have legitimate concerns.
Yeah, no,
I would say short-term bad, long-term good. I mean, if Botrick didn't want to be there, then parting ways sooner than later is probably in everyone's best interest. It looks like they've come to an agreement that he's going to change up his art style, but I think Botrick is the one that's going to have the toughest road. Not to say that Starcatchers doesn't have a tough road ahead of them, but I think that he's coming out of this not looking amazing. You never know what happened behind the scenes, but I think seeing the reaction to the FUD and some of the outrage and stuff, there's clearly a community there. They're clearly upset about it, and they're clearly, whether it's money driven or a love of the project, they wanted something to happen. So I think that this will in a short term, it's gonna create some pain, especially in this market. It's gonna be harder to get off the mat from where they are. So unfortunate. But what do you think?
I was going to say another thing to consider, and we're talking about the Web3 community. They like this shit where the artist, because they're buying the project because of the art. Well, yeah, some people do. A lot of people, majority, buy it to flip, but they buy it because of the art if they're going to keep it. And if the artist has gone, it just correct me if I'm wrong, maybe not exactly the same.
No,
it might
be the roadmap. Period.
Exactly. So wouldn't it have that dented feels kind of vibe where the artist fucks off? People are wondering, okay, then, well, we've got art from the artist that isn't even part of the project. This Boltec guy next month says, oh, do you know what? I'm going to make my own thing. And everyone from Starcatchers who kind of followed him because of the art goes over there.
Well, because Oh, sorry, Cass. I didn't mean
No, go on. Sorry. I said sorry that I cut you. So.
Oh, no. The only thing that I would say about this is the difference here is I think Butrick is coming off as if you're going to look at which side is, at fault or the enemy here, Butrick's the one looking bad. Like, I would almost say it's the opposite of dented feel. It's the same as dented feels in one way and opposite in the other, in that the dented artist was who everybody felt bad for, whereas here, not that they feel bad, but I think they feel like Starcatchers is the one who was blindsided by this artist versus the other way around, right?
Which is good, because at least that way the community have actually got eyes to kind of...
Totally. I mean, look, I know that community well, and I know how loved Ariel is. I mean, she's fabulous. So I think that I've always said this about every single project, whether it was, something even like Fishy Fam. Now that the NFTs are out there, it's up to the community to make it something. It's no longer the teams. Okay, this belongs to the community, and we see how strong community is. The projects that make it through bears like this are the ones with communities, because that's the only thing that's left when the tide goes out, right?
Yeah, very, very, very true.
Yeah,
because anything else, there's only time to create what they're saying they're going to create.
Yeah.
So that void has to be a community to kind of put some sort of something with. So
a lot of people are comparing this to dented feels, and like I understand the comparison is definitely there. However, we might never know the actual intricate details of it, but it looks like Beatrick was getting his fair shake within the stake and the pay and everything like that. And his project was there already. Like it really does just seem that like he had it all there. He could have continued to work on it. It's minted out. The floor price isn't like terrible. I know a lot of people wanted it to be higher and were expecting bigger things, but they're collecting royalties and they were in growth mode. And he kind of walked away from that. And that's not what happened with Dented Fields. Dented Fields was like, I did all of this stuff. I didn't feel like I was being treated fair. They gave me the boot, and he went on to quickly do his own other thing. And there's a whole bunch of dynamics going on in that regard. But I'm not seeing a very close comparison here. The Starcatchers was out. It was there. It was minted out. People loved it.
You know what I think it could be? Or what it could be is that this artist saw what happened with Dented Fields, thought he could get more royalty to try and play the game. Got caught out. Yeah. It didn't really, because he obviously went doing that for a reason. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw the Dented Field project, thought, fuck yeah, artists are the one. It's not the dev team. Fuck it, I'm gonna do the same. But
I always thought he was the one though. Like, we knew it was his art. We knew it was,
But I think he just wanted more because he just wanted more money. Yeah. So then he thought, fuck you lot. You lot can go without me. I can do it myself. But the community kind of cottoned on that he was doing it for the wrong reasons, not for the right reasons. And that's why it's probably come out this way.
Well, I'll tell you how I feel today. They're sitting at 0.2 right now, which is like as cheap as they've ever been. I'm not buying anymore, but I'm also holding the ones that I have. I'm not selling them. So that's kind of how I feel right now. I don't know, man. You know what I mean?
Well, to be fair, I was waiting for Starcatchers to get down to 0.25 before I was interested.
Yeah.
So I wasn't.
I don't know if I'm interested now. I
come on the show, I hear about Starcatchers, and I was like, no, fuck that.
Yeah.
Tough look.
It is what it is.
A couple other small topics to go over. Cass, did you see this this drug receipts go down yesterday?
Drug receipts?
Yeah, I saw some people minting that, and it's kind of a cool story. We were actually talking about this yesterday. You know, how these projects are kind of minting out first and then seeing a pump rather than in between the pre-sale and the allow list, and maybe some ARB is getting washed out from the botting and whatnot. But this project minted out. It was sitting at a 0.1 floor, and once it minted out, the floor actually started slowly rising from there. But yeah, it's kind of a cool story. This guy has been doodling on restaurant checks for a long time, doing these doodles and whatnot, and he's kind of bringing them to NFTs as a generative art project. But it's kind of like just reminding me of like a trippy, bright Cryptoon goons, right? It's like these cute little characters with a ton of attitude. There's like the pills, the capsules, the syringes, and there's one other one. But yeah, they're still in pre-reveal right now, and I just thought that they looked pretty cool. Something to look into. Pretty palatable price right now too.
They do look really nice, but my problem is I don't do pills. I do weed. So
yeah.
Hey, Kat, I gotta tell you, I think I have a problem.
Go on.
I can't stop buying Chain Scouts, and I don't know why.
Don't. Because same fucking boat, dude. Like,
did you see the floor on the net runners or whatever they're called? Yeah, the net runners.
Yes, it ran to 0.33.
And it's thin as hell. I mean, those are 0.5 in a snap.
Bro, I think there's 9 listed.
Yeah. The scouts are kind of if you look at, first of all, go look at our whale wallet tracker, number one. And number two, if you look at the floor, it's a little deceiving right now because, it's a game and the scouts so far are considered the least utility, the least valuable. But look at that accumulation. The miners, look at the net runners, look at the now, what was the other one that started to move? I just saw. Yeah, the Ronin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I keep buying these things. I can't help it. I like.
Well, here's one thing I'm seeing with them. They're about 50% staked right now, right? So we can cut the supply in half and call it 3,500. Let's just say nice round number, right?
Right.
If you look at the buy now page, there is 900 and 90 for sale. So that is actually quite a big chunk of them. But one, they are at a very reasonable price, especially as people are shopping around right now too, or as well. And two, you know, the staking is up. The game is kind of on the horizon. There's a pass that's going to be able to be minted. And I have to believe that most people at this point are buying it because of their belief in the game. And most of those are going to go straight from the sale into the staking wallet. And that could tighten up the supply quite a bit. And I know it seems aggressive at this very moment, but a nice little run on these things could change the dynamic of it in a hurry.
Yeah.
Well, there's more to think about it. Well, the reason I'm buying the way I'm buying at the moment is I am not doing the same mistake as I did with the Habibis.
There you go. There you go. Great analogy, Cass. Great analogy.
So, yeah, that's the reason I went and bought a Netscape, because I remember with Habibis, when they first come out, and you know there was the FUD and the rest of it, and they were trying. I think Ramo was talking about selling the animated versions.
Yeah.
But the animated versions would give you 10 times the amount of yield of oil. And this was back then without a liquidity pool. But I didn't listen. I thought, nah, fuck that. I don't need an animated fucking thing for 0.2. Them things set up at 5 ETH now, dude. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No. So, yeah, same as this. And the team seems cool. There's good people behind it.
Yes.
You might have 20 now, so just follow.
They seem like, you know what I mean? They seem like real nerds, and I like that in my P2E.
Nah, it's cool, man. And I like the art. I've always liked the art.
Yeah, that shouldn't be discounted. I actually like these little monkeys. The colors they pop. They're really good. So, you know. Yeah.
And then could you imagine them in NFT worlds?
Yo, man, that preview that they made, and
I'm so hesitant to trust any previews, but it did look really good. And we were talking about that yesterday, and you were just like, yeah, fuck the previews. So I'm like, yeah, fuck the previews. And then I was like watching it again. I was like, but it is good.
No. These feel better.
I like them. And have you guys? I'm not even sure. Well, on my own portfolio, Howler's kind of 2x yesterday.
Oh yeah, they come back.
Yeah, they're like at 0.47 at the moment.
Beautiful,
which is nice. Supply is like 300 odd.
Yeah, it's tight. Hey, I mean, they just kind of had this like weird moment where they did that a random stealth drop. People were going nuts for it, even though they had no idea what was going on, and it just kind of captured lightning in a bottle at that very moment of like the market and the meta and everything that was going on. Yeah, I don't know. I always just thought they were like a fun and a kind of fuck you kind of way, you know.
I think I like that. I like that fuck you kind of mentality. Yeah. Not towards me personally, but because there's so many
just.
Yeah. But because
it's unapologetic for what they are, though, right?
No, I think
it's like MF.
No, I was going to say, I think the community itself, or a lot of people in the community, can get so frustrating, asking the same foolish shit, asking the same thing again and again and again, and you expect these people or these owners just to say yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full. And when you get a few of these people that come out and just say, do you know what, fam, fuck off. If you want it, buy it. If you don't, fuck off. And they've always been the best salesman.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're confident in your product, you don't need to sell it for cheap.
Well said. Well said.
So, yeah, I'm interested to see how that one goes.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for sharing that Battlefly white paper with me yesterday too. For anybody that got into Battlefly, you probably already know this, but their white paper is out and it's quite extensive.
What is that? Is it a probability roll thing like Orcs, like a passive game like that? What is Battlefly?
From what I can gather, okay, don't quote me on this. It's just me.
We are. You're live, man. It's all
trying to ask Icon for weeks. I still don't know what it is.
So there's two different sections.
Mhm.
There's a section where you kind of farm, and then there's a section where you battle. You P2P, player versus player. Okay, so the first bit where you kind of stake your battlefly and it turns out of a cocoon and comes into a battlefly, and then you get, instead of staking tokens, I think you stake, instead of getting tokens, you get armor and weapons and things like that through farming, which you can then sell, or you can actually keep it, stack it on you. So once when you've built yourself up, then you can go into the arena and then play against other players on a 1 versus 1, and the winner gets magic, and the loser has to give some of the yield of their magic to the person who won.
Gambling, I love it.
So it depends on how strong they are. Depending on how strong your butterfly is or battlefly is, will determine if you win or lose. It's like playing Conkers back in the day.
Yeah.
Like if you beat the Conker, you take their points, and it turns into your Conker. So it's the same shit as that.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know if it's a whale game or not. I think it's more singular.
Gotcha.
I don't think they want loads of people to have loads of different battlefields. I might be wrong, but I think it's more you build your own shit, get your shit like a gladiator, and send him out there and fight. And you yield more magic by fighting than you would do if you were to stack. But then you can lose more magic fighting more than you can stack.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll have to read a little bit more on it. Everything I've seen looks really cool from it. It's just it's quite a comprehensive read, I will say that.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but most of the white papers and comprehensive reads that are coming out at the moment have been coming out this year, because last year I don't remember none of this shit. A white paper was literally three lines.
Yeah.
We're gonna do events.
I think what happened was that there were a lot of people that got into NFTs in the building of NFTs in the maybe summer or fall of last year, but the complex nature of what they were building demanded a longer timeline, and now we're starting to hit that point where a lot of them are getting close to and or ready to release, and we're starting to see that. And I think especially in like the P2E or the PvP kind of realm, we're going to see a lot of things on a much bigger, grand scale start to emerge, especially as we put some time in between that onboarding of like a huge amount of people back in the summer of 2021. Yeah, like real games take months, if not years. Like, I mean, yeah,
Years, So yeah, you're right. But in saying that, I know people that can make a very basic on-chain game. Basic on say Polygon, and it can take anywhere up to 90 days, so 3 months.
Okay.
So between a month to 3 months. More complex 3 months, less complex a month. So that's the kind of time frame to make one of these simple layer 2 games.
Interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
On a random, Metaverse, heard of it?
Metaverse?
Yes, I have heard of it, but I don't know enough about it. Talk to me.
Bro, you don't know enough about it?
No.
That's Method Man's freaking...
Oh, okay, Metaverse. There we go. I knew I had heard about it. Wow, that's cool. So what are the deets?
There's not much deets, really. It's just getting whitelist at the moment.
Oh, okay. All right, I better try for that. That one, that's from my childhood. I can't not. METHOD, man.
Bro, when I saw him and I figured out it was Method Man, he's going to bring a Metaverse. Fuck
yeah.
I am fighting for this shit. Wu-Tang.
Love it.
Yeah. So yeah, there was Metaverse that's knocking about. And then just the market shit. So it's just find the old school gems, I suppose.
Yeah, right.
Funny enough, what had I don't know the reasons why they had a pump, but Robotos.
Oh, I love Robotos.
Robotos and Toy Boogers had a massive pump. So Toy Boogers yesterday was at 0.45, now it's at 0.69. Robotos was down to 0.6. I think it's now up to 0.75 last time I checked.
Yes, sitting at 0.8 right now.
And this is the thesis that I've said so much people don't want to hear it anymore. But any collection that had a moment last year is here to stay. All right,
Yes.
I mean, that is, you're in a bear market right now. You're seeing a lot of the new crop, get destroyed and all that. But I am so bullish on things like Robotos, Toy Boogers, Dead Fellas, all those collections. I think they're all going to become elites this year once in a few weeks we get out of this low volume period. And I think a lot of the crop of the new crop is going to do well as well. And it's just love those type of plays like Toy Boogers. Toy Boogers community is on point, man. That is a great community there. I love the Toy Boogers.
Random on a
0.7 on that now too. Yeah.
random on a new one. Astronauts. Heard of it?
Which one is it?
Astronauts?
It's something to do with boba, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks a bit like Boba, I think. But FMC, you have not heard of Astronauts.
Is that the Augmented Labs Boba project?
I know Dots is a dev there.
Yes.
Yeah, I know
He is very excited about this project. He is really into boba. He DMs me about boba regularly. So I think this is cool. I am definitely working the angles on this project.
Whitelist full.
Don't worry about it. That's gonna be.
No, I've got whitelist for that one, to be fair.
Oh,
so
okay, good.
Okay, awesome. So I just saw the Habibi's astronaut thing preview. I look fucking sick.
Yellow BB.
Love it. There you go. Check it. There it is.
Yeah. I scrolled that too fast. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I like these guys.
Learn more about this.
But then this is what worries me a little bit. I don't know, maybe you guys can bring a bit more context into this, but where Dots and the team seem to be going and doing other projects, and working on other projects and doing dev work for other projects, does that as a kaiju holder worry you?
A little bit, I guess. The Augmented Labs has always aspired to be bigger than Kaiju Kings, and Kaiju Kings is just the central property in their ecosystem. Yeah, I can see where your concern would be. I would love to ask Dots when he's on the show later. It's a good one.
By the way, I just saw that Apocalypse thing. Shout out to Merlo. He called that one. He called that one early when it weren't even minting.
I remember the yeah. A lot of people were on that in the Degen Dojo. I remember that mint.
He called that, and that went. I think it was Sandman that told me about it when it was minting out. And
Great art.
I feel like the biggest idiot because I didn't mint, and I could have minted so easily, and I didn't. I thought to myself, nah.
Yeah.
And then when it went up to 0.3, Sandman says to me, "Oh, Merlo told me about that," and I was like, "For fuck's sake."
Right.
You're the immediate God damn it. Yeah.
Listen, whenever that guy says something, then fucking shit moons, man. I haven't seen him not say something that moons yet, which is scary. which then made me think about his name, like Merlin. It's Merlin, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Merlin.
He's actually a fantastic artist too.
Who? Merlo?
Yeah.
Serious?
Yeah.
Oh well, no. If I speak to him again, I'll have to say, "What's good?"
Yeah. He's he's a real deal.
Star Wars?
Yes.
Looking tasty. Looking tasty.
Yes. Yeah.
Fancy talking about that or not?
There's more to come. I think that you'll see some stuff coming out relatively soon, but it's hard at work, man. Charlie is full force on this, man. He's a machine. But yeah, the full Genesis collection is out, and just so stoked to be looking at it in its entirety on OpenSea, and it couldn't be more proud to have any kind of relationship with that and the artwork that's involved in that. So it's been so good.
You can actually see the honor and the passion just by you speaking there. Do you know that? That was
I
actually
appreciate that.
see, man. No, seriously, that was actually really beautiful to see, and it's true.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a long time in the making. Like, it was like, behind closed doors a lot earlier than it's probably let on. But
7-8 months, dude, minimum.
yeah, in that ballpark. We went through a lot of iterations. we joked about putting one of our original designs of the wolves in the Genesis collection, because it's shocking to see how far they've come. But don't want to stick someone with it.
No, I think which one was the original one? Was that the one that you guys posted like back in November?
Oh, I don't even remember the time, man. It's probably around then, maybe even earlier. Don't remember.
Like a creamy looking wolf.
Yeah. The nose was quite phallic.
But it's nice. You should hold that. And if the project,
100%. Man, I have all of those files like saved because it's fun to look back on it. It's nice to remind yourself of the progress, right?
Well, no, not just even that. You got to look at it in another way. Like, okay, let's just say Star Wolves builds. Okay, let's just say there's 10,000 people, and in 2 years' time, there's a following of 50, 100,000 people. Okay, you pull out that first ever version of Star Wolves and put it on auction, dude. You'd be sitting on good money as long as the project, fulfills where.
Yeah, the relic.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool, man.
Yeah, something to think about for sure. But I mean, eyes forward now. There's still lots of good stuff to come. Tons of good stuff to come.
Why is it so difficult to get anything out of you, Artie? FMC's all right because he slips one or two things now and again. Yeah? But you is like, yes, we're working hard.
Oh my god! You know what? One time on stream, it was a pure joke, but I said something about it just as a joke, as a collab, and I died inside because I remember like how seriously everybody just picks apart everything, like the little red one when I was showing how small the pixel art actually is. You're like, it says small in the title. I'm like, fuck. It was like a tiny little URL at the top of the screen, and it was just some random name that I gave. I was literally making the JPEG like live behind the camera there, and I just named it small wolf or something like that, and spelt it like the small, and it caught that at the top. And oh my god, killing me, man.
You have to, dude. You have to. This is what researchers do. That's what we do. Oh man,
nothing is off the table for sure.
I like that, for real. So what? Friday tomorrow? Anything wonderful for Friday?
I don't know. It's March break next week here in Canada. So the wife and the child both have some time off, and look forward to that. But Friday, just wrapping it up for the week.
Cool.
Yeah. How about you? Anything? What's going on tonight, tomorrow?
Tonight is what is on tonight? Tonight is Blockchain Bandits are minting tonight.
Somebody brought that up just real quick. Are you bullish, bearish on that? Keeping an eye out.
The law looks good, and well, problem we've got is one of the founders is actually a wolf holder, so we've got to support.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shout out to him.
Yeah. GT3.
0.088 mint price, 3,333 going down at noon. So about 55 minutes. So keep an eye out on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on that. And then what's the other ones? Conium. I don't know the ins and outs, but I believe it's some sort of NFT tool that you can use.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those pop up lately, for sure.
Oh, fuck yeah, trust me. And then World of Witches is on tonight as well. That's my 3 mints for the night. So
The 3-piece.
well, yeah. Well, ideally, what I want to do is just. I'm not sure about the Bandit one because it's GT3, but the rest of them is just buy, hopefully flip, and make enough money to have a stack of Star Wars. Minimum 4.
So all roads lead back to that, eh?
It has to, does it not? Because this is why I'm feeling guilty buying into Chain Scouts at the moment, because I'm thinking I could just wait and do the same shit with Star Wars. Well, hopefully I can't wait and do the same shit with Star Wars, but ideally I would want to wait and do the same shit. Just stack them up.
Just stack it up.
Yeah. Well, it's the 4th thing, isn't it? Because on that interface that you guys had on Twitter, you had like 4 slots of 4 different places you can put your avatars.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of things that's being worked on very hard. But yeah, there's some ideas of multiples there for sure.
Yeah, keep patting me away. I'll do keep. Nah, that's cool. But yeah, no,
that's being private, dude.
No, it's just so the whole gang can know in it. That's the reason, isn't it?
Yeah, you got it. I know. All right, Cass, we're gonna be wrapping this up, but I love you, buddy. Appreciate you coming up here and hanging out with us.
I'll speak to you guys soon, guys. FMC, Wu-Tang.
Have a good weekend, bro.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang.
Nothing to fuck with.
Hey.
Love R2. Speak to you in a bit.
Free market, anything else you want to cover?
No, sir.
We did it. Another episode down in the books.
Yep.
89. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. As always, the whole show is recorded for you. We talked about, Bitcoin taking a dump, South Korea electing a new president, very pro-crypto, exciting stuff. Justin Sun getting, kind of called out by the Verge, 10 KTF in the Gucci drop that's coming up. Quantum Key is doing some stuff. We talked about the CyberBrokers, which just continue to amaze. Free Market did an amazing rundown on the new phase of the EtherOrcs game. So if you are at all involved in EtherOrcs and you want to learn more, make sure to check that out. Or more importantly, check out the spaces that Free Market and Maz hosted last night on Twitter. That is recorded and it is a great listen. We didn't talk about gutter juice, but that's it's okay. It was what was expected. You're going to be able to change your cat into a clone, but looking pretty cool. Starcatchers kind of wrapped up the bow trick drama. Did a little bit of talk on Raid Party and then just vibed out for the rest of it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Free Market, get us out of here.
Good luck at the tables, D-Gen.